So again, United Healthcare is the change, and this network you will find is going to include every single major hospital in the Portland, Southwest Washington area: Providence, Legacy, Peace Health, OHSU, and then just a huge amount of individual providers with physicians and specialists. And then also, if you're traveling, there was a little hiccups with Pacific Source on some outlying areas, but with United Healthcare, it's one of the biggest in the country. You're going to have access to a network across the United States. So this should be a added benefit that you had before Pacific Source. So hopefully this will be good for you. And then the benefits, we're going to go into detail. Here's just a quick shot of all the benefits that are offered to you and your dependents. Medical, again, we're moving to United Healthcare. We are going to keep the options there that we had before, the first being the HSA. And then if you want a more traditional plan, we are offering that as well. The dental, vision, life are not changing. They're all going to renew with MetLife, who we changed to last year. And then the FSA, DCA, the limited FSA, there's a spelling error there. The HSA administration will all be with Task. We can blame auto spell on that one, Mandy. And then Mandy will also hit on the Employee Navigator. This is the system that you will go into to make your changes. This is the open enrollment, the month of December, to be able to make changes to the plans as well of any dependents that you may be enrolling. So I'm going to review the two medical options, and then we will touch again on the HSA and just a few reminders there on the ins and outs of the HSA. But first, on the traditional plan, the network with United Healthcare is called Choice Plus. This is their big network. The individual deductible is $2,000. And again, this is an annual deductible that runs from January to December. And there are certain benefits that we will go over where you will need to pay the deductible. For family, it is $4,000. And then for out-of-pocket maximum, which is also your worst case scenario, if you're going to have a big procedure that costs $50,000, your most that you would pay out of pocket would be the $5,000, and that does include the deductible. So the $2,000 is already built into the $5,000. So once you've hit the $2,000, you would only have $3,000 remaining. If you have a family and you've hit the $4,000, you would have $6,000 remaining in the out of pocket. And then after you've hit that, it's covered 100%. As a reminder, preventive care is covered 100%. We should be going out and doing these things of the physicals, the mammograms, our annual checkups are covered 100%. There's no copay. Also, just a reminder on the preventive, when you make your appointment, make sure that you talk with your provider, your physician, and tell them this is a preventive visit only. Do not go and have prescriptions filled or have them take a look at the mole that you have on your back, because that will then become a diagnosis and they will bill it as a diagnosis to the insurance carrier and you will find a bill. So make sure it's just the preventive when you go. The prescriptions with United Healthcare are going to be a $10 for generic, and then a $35 for a preferred brand. These are pharmaceuticals that have been around for a certain time. $75 for non-preferred. These would be the ones we see advertised, the higher cost brand name drugs. And then your specialty pharmacy, which would include injections, infusions, those are going to be $250 a month. Also, just a reminder, if you have questions, feel free to use the chat as we go along, and we'll also try to answer some questions at the end. As a reminder, too, if you have a maintenance drug that you're taking, please take advantage of the mail order. We're going to go into that a little bit. The pharmacy mail order is through Optum. This is a huge company. It's owned by United Healthcare, but Optum will be the services where you can get a 3-month supply for 2.5 times the copay. So you save a little bit of money, but mostly the convenience of having 3 months delivered. Office visits. If you're going to a primary care physician that is not tied to preventive, it is a $25 copay. And this would include children as well. Although it is saying 0 kids under age 19. So that is a new benefit that is, I think, pretty cool. If you are going to a specialist, and this is, of course, anything that ends with ist at the end, dermatologist, oncologist, those types of things, those are going to be a $75 copay. Just be aware of the differences up there between primary. Telemedicine is, again, a recommendation if it's not urgent or an emergency and you have children where it's more convenient. Take advantage of the United Healthcare. Mandy will go through that a little bit, where you'll be able to get on with somebody on an app through your phone, and it's covered 100%. There's no copay. And also they can prescribe certain drugs on there as well. Alternative care is included. This is a $25 copay. This would include spinal manipulation. This is a sophisticated way of saying chiropractic. And then acupuncture is also included. That's a $25 copay. Notice there is a maximum on the visit. So chiro, it's 20, and acupuncture, it's 10. And then again, urgent care is the better route to go. If it's not life-threatening, and they have statistically have said that 90% of ER visits are not life-threatening, they could have been handled in urgent care. That's just a $50 copay, and you're going to save a lot of time. If you go to the emergency room, of course, if it's life-threatening, please go. Doesn't matter where it is. Just get to the ER. That is going to be a $300 deductible. And then you're going to pay your coinsurance of 20% after you've already hit the deductible. So that's a big one. Be prepared. If you go to the ER, you're going to pay quite a bit out of pocket until you've reached your deductible. Let me just hit quickly on the choices that we have as consumers in healthcare. Every one of us here has an impact on the cost of healthcare. So Panther, they are in a large group product with United Healthcare. The renewals will be determined portion of based upon our experience in the group. So this is where we do encourage smart consumerism. So for example, you don't have an emergency, you go to urgent care. That's not only costing you less. If you could, please, everybody just put yourself on mute. If you have, if you go to urgent care, that's saving you money, but also the company as well. And that does help the renewals overall. Prescriptions, if you can take a generic, that helps as well. So there's things that we can do to help the overall health of the company. Now into the HSA plan, I do want to point out, this is an in-network only plan. We wanted to keep the cost down on the HSA to make this affordable, to allow you to contribute more of your money into the account. Because United Healthcare's network is so big, it's really hard to go out of network, especially in the Oregon, Washington area. So this is an in-network only benefit. Make sure you look at the website, myuhc.com, to look for the providers. But this is a $3,000 individual deductible, $6,000 family, really good out of pocket. So $3,000, once you've hit the deductible, you've hit the out of pocket. You're covered 100% after this point. If you're a family and you hit $6,000, You're covered 100%. We don't find a lot of times where the deductible and out-of-pocket are the same, and you have 100% coverage. So great HSA. This is again where if you don't have a lot of medical expenses, the HSA may be the way to go. If you have a lot of expenses, the HSA is probably the way to go because of that out-of-pocket maximum is less. In between is kind of where you have to pencil it out, the premiums and the benefits and that type of thing. But just a great HSA product. The going along here on the benefits down to prescriptions, remember, you will pay for the cost of the prescriptions until you've satisfied your deductible. After that, you're covered 100% for every prescription. Now, on the prescriptions too, make sure that you're allowing the discounts to go through. We'll go into that a little bit as well. But, you know, United Healthcare has discounts built into some of the pharmaceuticals and the pharmacies. So they do apply discounts that will save you money on that. Also, you have the mail order for the HSA as well. Again, on office visits, if it's not preventive, you're going to pay the full cost of the physician visit until you've hit your deductible. Also specialist as well. Another tip, again, if you're going to see your physician under a HSA, they're getting used to these, so they shouldn't be asking for a whole lot of payment up front, because what has to happen is that they have to build United Healthcare, and then the discounts again will be applied, and then you should get the net due to you through the explanation of benefits, and that's the portion that you would pay. If they're wanting some form of payment there, I would make sure, you know, it's a lower cost of like $50 to $100. I would not be paying the full cost of an office visit because the discounts haven't been applied. United Healthcare has probably negotiated between a 30 to 40% discount for that visit. Telemedicine virtual visits are covered around, it's a $40 copay. It is subject to deductible, but the virtual visits are going to cost a lot less than if you go into person to see your physician. As a reminder, these the physicians on the virtual visits are going to be a random selection. It's not going to be your physician, right? That you're going to go into an app and then it's going to bring up the next available person. So be prepared. If you don't have to see your physician, virtual visits are a way to go. Alternative care and chiro and acupuncture, all subject to deductible. Once you've hit that, then it's covered 100%. Same with urgent emergency room, covered 100% after you satisfied your deductible. All right, so those are the two plans. Those are the benefits. Mandy, do we have any questions in the chat on the benefits?
Oh, I didn't see any come through.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. All right. Well, we'll keep watching that. So now just a reminder about HSA and how it works. The best way to look at it is a two-part structure. You first have your high deductible health plan. That's the $3,000 deductible HSA plan. And then the second part is you do have a health savings account that you can contribute to, and that is pre-tax. Again, in the medical plan, preventive care is 100%. The virtual visits are a discount, and then all benefits are subject to the deductible. And as a reminder, let those discounts apply before you pay. The health savings account, as a reminder, the money accumulates year to year. It's not a use or lose it. You can use it for future medical expenses down the road. Maybe this year you're not going to have much, but you know in 2023 you're going to have some things. You can prepare for that and save in the HSA. If you have numerous HSA accounts, you can consolidate them into one account. And also, if you get to a certain portion of a balance in your HSA, you can transfer this into some type of investment arrangement where you could get interest on your money. Just remember that if you're going to use HSA dollars, it has to be in the cash account. You can't use your HSA dollars if it's invested in Google. So be prepared to sell some shares. And again, if you ever leave Panther, you take the money with you. As soon as it hits your account, it's yours. Again, if you to qualify for the HSA, we just have to cover a few things that sometimes we forget. Number one is you do have to be enrolled in the Panther high deductible HSA plan to contribute to the HSA account. You cannot be covered by another plan and contribute to the HSA account. The IRS does not allow it. This includes an FSA. If you're under an FSA under your spouse, you cannot enroll in the HSA. Also, this is coming up more and more. It seems to slip sometimes. If you enroll in Medicare, and sometimes it goes under the radar, the government puts you in Medicare Part A, you just lost your option of being in the HSA and contributing. You have to decline Medicare to be able to enroll in the HSA plan. And then also TRICARE will not make you eligible for the HSA. And finally, if you're claimed as a dependent on another person's tax return, you cannot contribute to the HSA. Maximum contribution limits for the next year are $3,650 for an individual, $7,300 for the family. A reminder, if you are over 55, you can make an additional catch-up of $1,000 each year into your HSA account. And again, contributions are made pre-tax payroll via payroll. Okay. One of the things I think we've hit on before, and just a reminder, is to compare prescription charges. There are times when GoodRx will beat the insurance and vice versa. So if you haven't, download the app GoodRx. You can put in your prescription and the dosage. It'll bring up where you can find this at the lowest cost. It'll give you a discount card that you'll be able to show the pharmacy. You're going to find that most of the pharmacies of Safeway, Fred Meyer's, and Walmart are going to be your least expensive. Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS are going to be your most expensive. They have a lot of middle people there taking some charges. So shop it out. Sometimes it will beat the insurance. You just need to be aware, if you use GoodRx and you're not billing through the insurance, it will not go towards your deductible or out of pocket, because it's just going to read it as cash, and it's not tracking that if you were to pay through the insurance. And as we noted before, OptumRx is the way to do the home delivery, 3-month supply, and there are 2.5 co-pays to get that. Mandy, is this where we bring you in?
I think it's my turn now. Thank you.
Yes.
And I don't think I see any questions either, so I'm just going to keep going. And again, if along the way we're talking and somebody has something, go ahead and type it in the chat box so that we can address it. Because we are changing medical carriers, I just want to make sure you're all aware of the different websites that you can go to when this happens. One thing, since we're just finishing up on prescriptions, I just want to remind everybody, it's really important, since we're changing for January 1, that you go ahead and renew any prescriptions at the end of this month with Pacific Source, because sometimes it's hard to have that exact ID number, ID card in your hand on January 1st. And I just want to make sure you guys will all have the coverage, but make sure you fill those prescriptions before the end of this month, just as a reminder. And then there's a couple apps that you will want to download with United Healthcare. And one of them is the United Healthcare app. And that can help you search for nearby providers. You can look at your claims. view your ID card, and then do the video chat through the doctor 24/7. Now, you won't be able to register for these apps until after you have your ID number. So I just kind of want to make you aware of all the things that once you do get that, you can activate this account. Okay, one of the programs that United Healthcare has that I just wanted to tell you about because I think it's a cool program, it's the Motion program. And so this is a different website that you will register at once you are truly on board with United Healthcare. You'll get a welcome packet and you'll be able to reference all these flyers and brochures. We have them in Employee Navigator as well, just so that you don't have to write everything down right now. You can always reference it through Employee Navigator. But UnitedHealthcareMotion.com is how you would set up your Motion account. And you have an ability to earn actual dollars towards your healthcare costs if you want to register at this site. You can use your own activity tracker. You just would have to register it when you register for the program, or you get a $55 credit and you can buy one of their activity trackers. And basically, there's 3 different ways you can earn $1 each day. So you could earn up to $3, and it's through frequency, intensity, and tenacity. And so frequency is if you go on a, they'll give you all the details of the program, but it's basically like a brisk walk for, 3 minutes a day or 5 minutes a day. And it'll explain all of the details of the program, but you actually can earn dollars towards your health plan. And so the way they do it is they reimburse you in a check form, depending on what plan you're on. So if you're on the traditional plan, at the end of a quarter, if you had healthcare expenses, but you've walked some miles and tracked some points, they will reimburse you a check for those dollars that you've actually met. If you're on the HSA plan, when you sign up for the program, you'll actually have to put your HSA bank account information in there so that they can just give you the credit right to your health savings account. So I encourage everybody to get involved and do it. It's a great program and you can earn a lot of extra money towards your healthcare expenses. Okay, so as Brandon mentioned, the telehealth is a really important thing to remember, especially on the HSA plan, because going in person would be a little bit more expensive till after you've reached your deductible. And so there's a healthiestu.com site where you would register. Again, this will all be in the welcome brochure, so you'll know all these 3 sites that you should go to register for these programs. But they do have access through Teladoc so that you can have a virtual visit with a provider. And like Brendan mentioned, it's not your own personal provider, but you would have access there. They can prescribe for things. Some of the items that they would treat would be an earache, a sore throat, pink eye, strep throat. Those are just some examples of some of the ailments that a virtual visit can cover. And again, it's 100% covered if you're on the traditional option, and it's a minimal cost to you if you're on the HSA plan. So this is a great resource. There's also a wellness program attached to HealthiestU as well. So there's different programs that you can be involved. So again, once you get your ID card and you register at these sites, you'll have access to the entire menu of options. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the dental. Doesn't seem like we have any questions yet on the medical, but maybe after we're done, we will. This is a reminder, you're gonna remain with MetLife. There's no changes here. I think the premium went down a little bit. There is a deductible on the plan. It's $50 per person, up to $150 for a family, but the deductible only applies to the basic and the major services. So the preventive services covered at 100% in network, that little slash right there, 100% in network, 80% out of network. I always encourage people to use in-network providers whenever they can because your dollar goes a lot further. But sometimes people want to use an out-of-network dentist because they've known them for a long time, and that's fine for you. But just remember that when you go get your preventive services, it's going to be a little bit of a charge for you on that. For basic services, that would be if you had any sort of filling, anything like that. That's covered at 80% if you're in network and 70% if you go out of network. And then for major services, that's the big stuff like the crown. That's covered at 50%. And then just as a reminder, your benefit maximum is at $1,500 for the year. So I have the MetLife.com website here. As a reminder, you guys have the PDP Plus network. And also, there's no dental ID cards with MetLife. So just want to let you know that if you do have services, you basically just give them your name, your social, they look you up that way at the dental office. Okay.
Mandy, we had a question on when you were just covering some of the features to United Healthcare. They asked, is it different than the Ask a Nurse?
I ask a nurse, is that the 24/7
Yeah.
nurse? It is different than that. There is also a 24/7 option that you can call, and you'll get that in your welcome kit too. But the virtual visit is different than that, where you're going to actually have a virtual visit with a teledoc registered doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So for MetLife, you guys have the vision, just as a kind of reminder, because you were with Pacific Source this year, it was a small group product and they baked in vision for pediatrics on there. So some of the vision was already baked in there. It's going away since you're going to United Healthcare with a large medical group plan. So you do have MetLife Vision available to you. It's a VSP network of providers, plus there's more than that. So if you're wanting to do a provider search, you can go to metlife.com/vision to look up providers. Every year you can have an exam. It's a $5 copay. Frames and lenses, it's a $10 copay. And you can have contacts in lieu of the frames. And then there's a $150 allowance as well. So this is still in place. You still have this going with MetLife, and it's renewing as is. Okay. Just a reminder, because these are some of the benefits that the employer pays for that maybe we don't use all the time, thank goodness. But this is the basic life insurance and accidental death and dismemberment. This is a $50,000 benefit that your employer pays because you work there. So it's a great thing. I always like to remind people about it because, again, it's not one of the benefits we see, but you do have something in place from your employer. Okay, long-term disability. This is another employer-paid benefit. And just in case you were wondering what long-term disability insurance is, it helps you replace a portion of your income during an extended period of time. So if something happens to you and you are not able to come back to work, you do have this available after 90 days, and you can get about a 50% benefit of your salary for a certain period of time, whatever you're approved for, depending on the disability. And this benefit could go all the way up to Social Security normal retirement age. So again, these are not the benefits that we utilize daily, but they are there, and it really makes a nice benefit package with Panther. Okay, this is just a reminder that you have an employee assistance program through MetLife. Again, we'll have these flyers available on Employee Navigator, so you don't have to write all of this down, but there's definitely, I think in the last couple of years, we probably all have just declined a bit just with our new virtual reality and our contactless society that we have. And maybe you feel like you just need some additional support. And so this would be a great resource for you. If you have family things going on, work things, money, there's all kinds of things. I mean, just the entire spectrum can be covered here at this EAP. And you would have access to this through that 800 number. You can actually log on to the website as well. There's a password, username and password there. So please, just as a reminder, this is a great resource for anybody that would need something like this throughout the year. Oh, was there? I don't know if there was a question. I heard something. Okay, so this is just TASK. They are the third-party administrator who administers the HSA plan. So as a reminder, $3,650 is the max that you can contribute for an individual, $7,300 for family, and then of course you have the $1,000 catch-up if you're 55 and older. You do have a limited purpose flexible spending account. That's for those people that they're enrolled in the HSA, but then maybe they want to use this limited purpose FSA for dental and vision expenses, they can do that. And that annual limit is $2,850 for this year. There's a dependent care account as well, and that's an IRS $5,000 annual limit. And then a flexible spending account for those that maybe are just on the traditional plan and want to put money aside, tax-free dollars aside. The annual limit for this is $2,850 as well. So just as a reminder, you're going to be going through our benefit platform, Employee Navigator. I think last year was the first year that you guys enrolled through this, but you will be making any of your updates to your HSA plan, your limited purpose FSA, or your FSA through the Employee Navigator. So we need to make sure we capture all those changes. We don't just assume that you just want the same as you did last year. You actually have to go in and elect it and select what amounts you want. Okay, so this is just a reminder of what the site looks like. You should be getting an email today from Employee Navigator. So it's not from M&G and it's not from Panther, but it does come directly from Employee Navigator, just with an announcement that we need you to log into the site. And you should have a username and password from last year, and hopefully you still remember that. And if not, you can click to reset the forgotten password. And you will just go through and elect what benefits you want. We are opening it up today, and the deadline is actually midnight on Friday. And that's because United Healthcare for Washington has a very tight state regulated turnaround. We cannot submit after a certain date. So we have to make sure that everybody goes in and elects the benefits or waives the benefits, whatever you're going to do, but you have to do it this week. And again, all the forms for all the plans will be uploaded in Employee Navigator. So hopefully it'll address any questions that you may have as you're plan. Oh yeah, this is just letting you know as you're clicking through, you're going to start the enrollment. That's how you begin to enroll in the benefits. It'll show you what you have now, just in case that helps you or you have any confusion. If you're wanting to add a dependent or delete a dependent, this is the time that you would do it because it's called open enrollment time. So then once you've completed everything, it's going to let you know, it will let you know if you've forgotten anything or didn't remember to elect or waive something. And so it'll say enrollment's not complete in yellow. But once that's finished and you select everything, you save and continue, you finalize the benefits, it'll give you a little summary of everything that you enrolled in. And that's it. That's all we need from you. So the good news is
a couple of questions here.
Sure.
Okay, we need to clarify on the vision because it does say on the slide that the glasses contacts every calendar year, but I think the experience has been that it's only available after 12 months of the last usage of that benefit. Is this a change this year, or do we still have to wait 12 months from the time that we last used that benefit?
You can have the benefit once every 12 months. So it's actually, it's the same slide as last year. So there wasn't a change in the benefit. So I hope I'm clarifying that.
Well, I just think confusion with calendar year, you know, if you have it done in March of next year, you're not going to be able to get it until the following March of the next year. So a full 12 months from the last time of the benefit.
Right.
That just for like the exam benefit, or also like just if I want to get like getting contacts or.
It would be both.
So like, so
Right.
So you get all the contacts for like, basically need to get a year's supply at once because I won't be able to get it. Any contacts, you know, for 12 months.
Well, yeah, whatever the maximum benefit of what
Right.
you can use is, yeah, for that 12 months. And then the following year, 12 months after, you can use it again.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a question about how do you enroll a dependent if it's not due until mid-January, beginning of February? No, you're needing to enroll dependents by this month. And what was the Navigator date, Mandy?
We're opening it today. They're going to receive the email and it's closing Friday at midnight.
Friday, yeah.
I think he's
Sorry,
referring to a new baby though, like a birth of a new
Oh,
child.
okay, yeah, you have
Oh.
30 days to be able
From
to
the
add.
date of the birth. Yeah, that's a qualifying event.
Yes. And thanks, that's a good one because people forget to add babies and they have to be added within 30 days. A lot of times, you think the insurance carrier, they're paying for the bills, but they need to be notified. Any other questions? I don't see any in the chat.
Well, just the you're saying like the good RX that if you go through there, it doesn't satisfy your deductible. But if
Yeah, it doesn't because
if you use
they don't
HSA
know that
dollars,
you're using it.
if you use HSA dollars though,
You can use HSA dollars, yes, for those costs. If you have the discount card with GoodRx, you can use HSA dollars to pay for it, but it just won't know in the system that that's going towards your deductible.
okay.
Any other last second questions? Going once, twice. All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We appreciate it. Hope you have a great holiday season. Mandy, we're signing out.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Look for that Employee Navigator email this afternoon and log in and let us know if you have questions.
Thank you.
Take care.